from exercise 5.1, we have to do question number 1, 2, 3 and question number 12. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
मैम
Yes, Kurshan.
मैम मैंने आपसे पूछना था मैम 15.2 में कौन सी एक्सरसाइज है मैम कौन सी क्वेश्चंस है
5.2, beta, you have your syllabus booklet with you. You should check from there. You can download the complete syllabus from the school's website and you can note down from which exercise or which chapter what you have to do. All right?
Okay,
That will be the best thing. You always keep that with you. Okay, so as for now, we have to do question number 12 and question number 13 and 14 are deleted. So let's do question number 12 now. Some of the students had already done it and shared it with me. So the first question here has a pair of lines, as you can see. The last time we discussed about vertically opposite angles. So vertically opposite angles are formed when two lines intersect each other. So यहाँ पे दो lines एक दूसरे को cross कर रही हैं. This one is one line. If I say this is L, and then there is this one. This is the second line that I have जिसको cross कर रही है M. So whenever you have a pair of lines forming a cross, like two lines intersect each other, then we can use the vertically opposite angles for solving a question. To identify the vertically opposite angles, the angles that are side by side, you don't have to take those. Take the ones which are right opposite to each other. So property of vertically opposite angles is that they are equal to each other. So from here, if you identify the angle 55 degrees will be equal to this angle. And Iron Aurora, yes, beta. These are the vertically opposite angles. And these will be equal. The angles that I have marked with black will be equal, will be equal to each other, and the angles that I have marked in blue, they will be equal to each other. Can anyone tell me who's Husainpreet Kaur? Because there is a participant with the name of Husainpreet Kaur in the waiting room. Sure. All right. Okay. This is what we're going to use. I would like you to draw the figure quickly in your notebooks. And please ensure that your mics are muted. I'm just going to draw the same figure which is given in the book. So we have Y marked here, X marked here, 55. Yes, you have to draw. You have to draw. And this is what we have. So I'm writing the answer directly. Because someone is, I think, having TV playing in the background. Please mute yourself. So VOA stands for vertically opposite angles. I would like you to mark in the diagram also so that it's easier to identify. You can use different colors or you can use pencil and pen. So what I'm going to have is, yes.
मैम जो आपने रेड कलर से मार्क किया है मैम वो क्या है?
Beta, I'm just trying to show the angles which are equal. The angles that I have marked with same color, they are equal. The ones in red, they will be equal to each other, and the ones which are marked in green, they will be equal to each other.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, X is equals to 55.
X will and 55 will be equal, Y and Z will be equal. Now X has value 55. We have the value of X. This is one answer. We need to find out Y and Z. So we need to think about something else. For this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the property that Y and 55 degrees. They are forming a linear pair.
मैम नीचे वाले एक्स जेड को नहीं ले सकते थे?
वो भी ले सकते हो आप बेटा, स्ट्रेट लाइन चाहिए आपको. You need a straight line and two angles. So you could take this straight line on which you have y and 55, or you could take the other slanting line on which you have z and 55. Any line with two angles. I have taken this one. If I name the line, this is L. Let us say this is M. So मैंने L ली है. L के ऊपर दो angles बन रहे हैं.
एक्सक्यूज मैम हम y और 55 को पेंसिल से करेंगे और z और x को पेन से करेंगे.
Better you have blue pen, black pen, you have pencil, you might have colors also. This is only for you to identify. Exam में इसकी importance नहीं होगी. ये सिर्फ understanding के लिए आपको कहा है कि आप color कर सकते हो, so that you remember. Exam में required नहीं होगा. And the property of the angles which form a linear pair is their sum is 180.
To 180.
Yes, they are supplementary, and this is an equation which you can solve to find out the value of y. This is your second answer.
एक्सक्यूज मैम.
Yes.
मैम 180 कैसे आया?
Beta, linear pair angles are supplementary.
ओके मैम.
Where you have written your definitions, you will see, if I take you back, this was the first page, yes. जो आपने beginning में definitions लिखी हैं, over here, when I have indicated, right here, जब मैंने linear pair के बारे में लिखवाया है, I have written this. The definition says the angles are supplementary. So that's what I've used here to solve my question. I had two intersecting lines. Whenever I have two intersecting lines, the first thing that I can use is that vertically opposite angles will be equal. And whenever I have a line, there will be a pair of angles, they will be supplementary. Now I have the value of x and I have the value of y. What do you think will be the value of z?
125 degrees.
That's right. That's right. Yes, Sahaj, you can do that way also. Z is also equal to 125 degrees because y and z are equal to each other. This is something new for you. Now, I would like you to think of it similar to simple equations. Simple equations में आपको statement form में question दिया होता था, जिससे आप equations बना के solve करते थे. यहाँ पे आपको diagram दिया होगा या figure दी होगी. Based on how the figure has been drawn, you can make equations, and by solving those equations, you will be able to find out the angles which have been marked using variables. तो जो एंगल्स आपके एक्स वाई जेड से शो किए हुए हैं उनको फाइंड आउट करने के लिए यू विल नीड टू थिंक ऑफ हाउ दोज एंगल्स कैन बी पुट इन इक्वेशन फॉर्म विद अदर एंगल्स इन द सेम डायग्राम और सेम फिगर. So that's how you want to find this out. There will be questions for practice in the assignment I'll share after the end of the chapter, and I hope that will make it like you'll have more clarity once you practice on your own. If you've done this, can we take up the next question? I would like to draw. I would like you to draw the figure for the second part. Yes, draw the figure for the next part, and be careful. Now there is something you want to note down in second part. There are not just two lines. There are actually two lines with a ray. I'm going to. So there is one horizontal line, right? Let me just change the color so that you can see. and then there is one drawn this way. These are the two lines. And what they have done is they have drawn another ray, just a ray. It's not a line from here. This is how the figure is. Can you see the lines?
Yes.
So vertically opposite angles will
Yes,
be
ma'am.
formed when lines intersect. The ray has nothing to do with vertically opposite angles. Ignore the ray when you are trying to identify vertically opposite angles. Let's mark what they have shown. They have marked X here. On this angle, they have shown 40 degrees. This angle is marked as Y. This little angle is Z, and this angle over here is 25 degrees. Now, when you want to identify your vertically opposite angles, your focus should only be on the two lines. आपका फोकस सिर्फ लाइंस पे होना चाहिए, आपने रे को इग्नोर कर देना है. तो आपके पास अगर हम इस रे को इग्नोर कर दें, एक एंगल ये बन रहा है ऑन दिस साइड. दिस इज अ वेरी लार्ज एंगल. दिस विल बी इक्वल टू दिस एंगल. And
Ma'am,
yes,
ma'am, Z is equals to 40.
yes, this angle will be equal to this one. Now, can you write down vertically opposite angles? This angle over here, the one I have marked in pink right here, this is X and 25 together. So if I have to draw it separately, इस तरह से फिगर है आपका. देखो यहाँ पे एंगल आपका 40 डिग्रीज और यहाँ पे एंगल है Z. ये इक्वल होंगे आपस में. The other pair will be of the angle which is formed here. It is Y, and on this side there were two angles, X and 25. So Y will be equal to X and 25 together. This is only for understanding, like I'm just showing you in rough how you can identify. If you ignore the ray, this is how your figure will be, and this is how you'll be able to identify the vertically opposite angles. And now I'm going to write down my answer. So I can simply write down that vertically opposite angles are equal. That would mean Z will be equal to 40. These are the ones I've marked in green, and the ones I've marked in pink are Y equals to X plus 25. Now this is fine, the first one, this is okay, Z equals to 40. I have one answer. I have answer for Z. But what do you do about the second part? Y equals to X plus 25. ना मेरे पास X की वैल्यू है, ना मेरे पास Y की वैल्यू है. What do I do about it? I will need to think of something else. And for that, I'm going to consider linear pair. I want you to look at the blue line, the line that I have drawn in blue, and uske left side pe, yes, this side.
I'm 40 plus X plus 25 is
You
equals
could
to
write
1.
that also. Yes, you could write that also, but I'm just taking this on the left side, 40 and Y. So it's like there is a line. This is the blue line, and you have two angles on this side. So this is 40 and this is Y. This is a linear pair. Two angles on a line. So what I'm going to do here is Y plus 40 equals to 180. And how I have written this? Because Y and 40 form linear pair. Solve. The value of Y is 140 degrees. I'm going back to the original result that I had written in the beginning, and I'm going to use the value of y here.
मैम ये वाला स्टेप थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है मैम, मुझे वो स्टेप अच्छा लगा मैम.
Yeah, that's also fine. Let me show another way. So this is something we could use to find out x, that if you have a straight line, now you can see this is a line here, and on this line there are three angles, 40x and 25. So sum of these angles will be equal to 180. So 40 plus x plus 25 will be equal to 180, and from here you can find out x.
मुझे पहले वाला मेथड ज्यादा सही लगा.
Whichever you like there is another way possible here, so you can do this way also, because Gurshan mentioned this, so I just wanted to share it with you. Whichever you like, whichever way you can think of, I will be sharing questions. Like, I think I should share the questions today so that you can practice how these questions will be solved. I'll share a few, like I'll share 2-3 questions so that you can practice to use the properties of vertically opposite angles and linear pair. And if you have questions, you can ask. And this actually completes your exercise. After this, there are 2 more questions in your book which are not to be done, although you could just go over the blanks. The blanks that are given in your book, you can just go over those. I will be mentioning, I will be actually giving those blanks in the assignment itself in the form of MCQs or objective type questions. So those blanks will be covered there, 1 mark questions. So after this, we have the next topic.
मैम.
Yes, beta.
मैम जो आपने ये नोट लिखकर ये जो करवाया है मैम, ये दोनों मेथड सेम है.
Yes, actually it's same. They are interrelated, but we are not going into details right now how they are related to each other. आप अगर left side वाला method use करते हो, z is okay. Z की value तो directly आ गई ना, z equals to 40. वहीं पे आंसर आ गया, पहली लाइन में z का आंसर आ गया. y के लिए हमने linear pair use कर लिया. y और 40 दोनों लाइन पे बन रहे थे, उनका सम 180 हो गया, y की वैल्यू भी आ गई. प्रॉब्लम आ रही थी x की, तो x की वैल्यू निकालने के लिए आप वर्टिकली ऑपोजिट यूज कर सकते हो, या फिर जो मैंने ये नोट लिखवाया है आप ये यूज कर सकते हो.
ओके मैम.
Only for x the method has changed. For z and y you have to use the same thing which is given there. Once you practice, you will learn that there are so many ways to do these questions. Like there are multiple ways to do these questions. Okay, if anyone's writing down, please let me know before I take up the next work.
Please 2 minutes.
Okay,
Just a second.
sure.
Ma'am, blanks have to do in our notebook.
No need to do. You can just take a reading, quick reading. And out of the blanks, actually, I would mention you will be able to do the first, second, third, and fourth one and fifth one. Yeah, first 5 blanks. आपको समझ आ जाएंगे. You will need to use the definitions to do these blanks. Blanks करने से पहले एक बार definitions पढ़ लेना जो beginning में लिखी थी आपने before exercise 5.1. Okay, beta. Now after this, you need to do these definitions which I've sent you yesterday evening, and I will be discussing these with you so that you can note down after you complete this exercise. Okay, so this is something we have done last year also. Intersecting lines and parallel lines. So if there are 2 lines which meet at a point, then those lines are called intersecting lines. The point where they meet is called point of intersection. And I have taken a picture here. In the picture, you can see there is a blue line and there is a black line. They are intersecting, means they are crossing each other at a point. The name of the point is P. So I can say that line L and line M are intersecting lines I've written here. And the point P will be called the point of intersection. Sometimes in the figure लगता है कि lines intersecting नहीं है, लेकिन अगर आप उनको produce करो, if you extend them, then they intersect. Even then you will call them intersecting lines. For example, if I draw 2 lines this way, so line L and line M, what can you say about these lines?
And these will
They are
intersect.
intersecting.
Yes, they will intersect because if you produce M, then M will cross L. So M will cross L, they will become intersecting. So चाहे आपको लग रहा हो कि वो क्रॉस तो नहीं कर रही, लेकिन आपने कंसिडर करना है कि अगर इन लाइंस को हम एक्सटेंड कर दें, इनका साइज इंक्रीज कर दें, क्या ये क्रॉस करेंगी? You have to consider that possibility when you say lines are intersecting or not. The second pair of lines is parallel lines. If 2 lines never meet, even if extended. So if there are 2 lines which never meet, even if extended, those lines are called parallel lines. And we are writing down pair here, so I'm only taking 2 lines at a time. So I have drawn a picture where I have line L and line M, and if you extend them, अगर आप इनको extend कर लो, चाहे left direction में extend कर लो, चाहे right direction में extend कर लो, these will never meet, and we call these lines as parallel lines. I hope everyone can remember this. Yes, Archit?
Remember by chance हो गया था.
Okay. ये किया हुआ है हमने last year, I remember.
Yes, ma'am.
Now this is something new, the word transversal. This is new for you. Transversal is the name given to a line. एक लाइन का नाम रख देते हैं हम ट्रांसवर्सल. वो लाइन होती कैसी है? इट इंटरसेक्ट्स अ पेयर ऑफ लाइंस. आपके पास अगर 2 लाइंस है, ओवर हियर जो फर्स्ट पिक्चर है, L and M आर इंटरसेक्टिंग लाइंस. अगर मैं L को आगे लेके जाती हूं तो वो M को क्रॉस करेगा. Simply saying, if there is a line which crosses 2 different lines, then that line will be called transversal. So if you look at the two pictures here, the line T, the one in orange, the line which I have drawn in orange is crossing line L and line M at two different points. So the orange line crossed line L at one point, then आगे जाके उसने M को भी क्रॉस किया. So इस लाइन को हम बोलेंगे ट्रांसवर्सल. And on the right side again, the line T crossed line L and crossed line M. This line, the orange one, is called the transversal. Further,
मैम
yes,
मैम ट्रांसवर्सल का जो लाइन का नेम है मैम वो टी होगा कि कोई और भी
कुछ
हो
भी रख
सकता है?
सकते हैं. मैंने यहाँ पे डेलिबरेटली टी रखा है. आप कोई भी नाम रख सकते हो, PQR ABC
ओके
whatever. Yeah.
ओके
Now, important thing about a transversal
Excuse
is, yes,
एक्सक्यूज मैम,
yes,
मैंने क्वेश्चन 12 किया नहीं था मैम. मैं आपको क्वेश्चन 12 आज सेंड कर दूंगा मैम. मैंने डेफिनेशन सुबह सेंड कर दी थी.
all right, all right. Important thing about a transversal is जब transversal इस तरह से lines को cross करती है तो angles बनते हैं. I have taken the picture which I drawn earlier. You can see the same picture over here. From here I have taken this diagram. I have a purple line L, a blue line M, and both these lines, the purple line and the blue line, they are being crossed by orange line. So orange line is the transversal here. And when this orange line intersects these purple and blue lines, angles are formed. So there are 8 distinct angles formed. I have numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And out of these 8 angles, I can identify special angles based on their position. So this is very important for you to understand. Based on the position, how will you identify what type of angles we have? So first type of angles we have is simply saying interior angles. तो ये जो आपको पर्पल और ब्लू लाइन नजर आ रही है, इनके जो अंदर एंगल्स बने हुए हैं, I'll just zoom in here so you can see purple line and blue line, इनके बीच में जो एंगल्स हैं, can you see which angles are those?
एंगल 4 एंड एंगल 3.
Yes, और उधर ब्लू की तरफ इंटीरियर मींस ये अंदर अंदर रहना है आपने इनके. यहाँ कौन से एंगल्स
मैम
नजर?
एंगल 5 एंड एंगल 6 आर इंटीरियर एंगल्स.
3, 4, 5, 6 ये चारों ही इंटीरियर है. जो लाइन
Okay, ma'am.
L और M के बीच में है, लाइन L और M के बिटवीन जो स्पेस है ना, उस स्पेस में जो एंगल्स बन रहे हैं वो इंटीरियर एंगल्स हैं. और जो बाहर बाहर हैं वो एक्सटीरियर हैं. तो एक्सटीरियर में कौन से हुए?
एंगल
या दिस इज इंटीरियर और बाहर वाला पार्ट होगा आपका एक्सटीरियर.
मैम एंगल 1 and 7 and एंगल 4 and 8. मैम 1 and 5.
आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट एक्सटीरियर एंगल्स बेटा, जो बाहर हैं, लाइंस के बाहर हैं. You need to look at the diagram so that you can identify.
मैम एंगल्स 1 and 7 and एंगल 2 and 8.
That's right. These are the exterior angles. The interior angles are angle 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you have identified your interior and exterior angles, let us move further and talk about the pairs of angles that are formed here. The first pair of angles that we have is pair of corresponding angles. To identify corresponding angles, I would like you to identify the transversal. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इस फिगर में आप पहले ट्रांसवर्सल आइडेंटिफाई करोगे. द ट्रांसवर्सल इज द ऑरेंज लाइन. सो ऑरेंज लाइन की लेफ्ट साइड देखो या राइट साइड देखो, डिसाइड वन थिंग. सो हम ऑरेंज लाइन की लेफ्ट साइड कंसिडर करते हैं. लेट मी जस्ट इरेज द राइट साइड हेयर. सो हम फोकस कर रहे हैं सिर्फ लेफ्ट साइड पे, ट्रांसवर्सल की लेफ्ट साइड. अगर इतना पोर्शन होता हमारे पास. अब आपको लेफ्ट साइड पे कितने एंगल्स नजर आ रहे हैं?
4.
इन 4 में से आपने 1 से बिगिन करना है, 1 के साथ वाला एंगल नहीं लेना, उससे अगला लेना है. सो 1 की
1
मैचिंग
and
1 and 5 और 4 की मैचिंग किसके साथ होगी?
8.
These are
8.
corresponding angles. These are corresponding angles. Now, keeping this in mind, identify what you will have on the other side. अगर हम right side लेते तो कौन सा पेयर बनता?
मैम अगर हम राइट साइड लेते तो पेयर बनना था एंगल 2 and 6 एंड एंगल 3 and 7.
That's correct. अगर हम right side लेते तो हमारा पेयर बनता 2 and 6, 3 and 7.
7.
So when you want to identify corresponding angles, आपने ट्रांसवर्सल की एक साइड पहले डिसाइड करनी है, उसके बाद आपने alternate angles लेने हैं. So if I take the left side, the pair will be of 1 with 5 and 4 with 8. On the right side, one pair will be of 2 with 6 and the other pair will be of 7 with 3. So there are 4 pairs, 1 and 5, 4 and 8, 2 with 6, 3 with 7. This is very important, okay? Now after this, the next pair of angles that you need to identify is alternate angles. Pair of alternate angles हम इंटीरियर से ले सकते हैं और हम एक्सटीरियर से ले सकते हैं. So let us first take alternate angles from the interior. That's why
मैम हमने क्रॉस करके उनको लेना ना, जैसे 3 राइट साइड पे एंड 5 लेफ्ट साइड पे, तो मैम हम क्रॉस करके लेंगे ऐसे.
That's correct. That's correct. Now I want to look at only the interior angles. Let us ignore these angles outside. So ये मेरे interior angles हैं, lines के अंदर जो हैं. And I would like to take the ones which are not together. So I cannot take 3 with 4. I cannot take 5 with 6. I will be taking 3 with 5, one pair,
4
and
with 6.
4 with 6. This is how I'm going to identify the pair of alternate interior angles.
एक्सटीरियर में भी क्रॉस
And
ही होगा.
same way, yes, same way you can identify the pair of alternate exterior angles. For this, I'm going to now ignore the interior angles. Let us ignore the interior angles. You can now see the angles in the exterior. Exterior वाले angles में से अब आप identify करो cross किनका बनता है. 2 with 8.
2 and
8, 7
1
and
and
1.
7.
1 and 7. These form pair of alternate exterior angles. Once you have done this, now you know how to identify corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles. I have actually written here also in the definitions. You can match later on. And then we have pair of co-interior and co-exterior. पहले हमने alternate लिए थे, अब ले रहे हैं co-interior, co-exterior. This would mean same side. Co means together, जो साथ साथ हैं. And these are actually angles on the same side of the transversal. So I'm going to take you back to the figure, and what you want to do is to identify co-interior and co-exterior angles. I would like to take a look at only one side of the transversal. So I'm going to take a look at just one side of the transversal. I'm going to take the angles which are in the interior.
Co-interior are 4 and 5 and angle 3 and 6.
So on the same side, the ones in the interior, 4 and 5. The angles which are in the interior and on the same side of the transversal will be called co-interior angles. Again, in your diagram, the angles which are in the interior and on the same side of